I feel like I haven't been here or we haven't been here like this in longer than 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
It's only like we only missed 2 inside of here. 2 weeks in this fucking refrigerator.
It's so nice.
I'm freezing.
It's really nice in here.
I want a sweater.
You're wearing a sweater.
This is a zip-up hoodie. It's not a sweater.
More like a turtleneck?
I don't know. So, I think the Red Bull's kicking in on me right now. No, it's fucking cold, man. I'm wearing shorts. If you guys can't see my legs. But I'm wearing shorts because it's so fucking warm outside. But whenever we're in here, I'm just like, I feel like my lips are gonna turn blue.
Which Pee-wee movie does he go see those dinosaurs in Nevada?
Just hard shift. Doesn't want to talk about it. That's Pee-wee's Big Adventure. There's only one movie he's done.
I thought there were 2.
No.
Not 2 movies? I thought there were 2 movies.
Should I Google it real quick?
Yeah, like
I'm gonna do a OK Google, so then I can record we can record what it says.
Okay.
How many movies was Pee-wee in?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure includes Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Big Top Pee-wee, and Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Holy shit, there are 3?
2016?
What? I didn't know that. I thought there were just 2.
What? I thought there was just the one. Big Top Pee-wee. Oh, okay.
Because the first one, it's the whole bike, right? He's trying to get his bike back.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking because remember in Fallout New Vegas, you meet that sniper dude, and he uses that dinosaur to pick off feral ghouls.
I vaguely remember.
And he has like some mission where it's like you have to find like his kid or something. But I was just thinking, I was like, I don't know why it popped in my head, but I was like, why didn't Fallout make like a Pee-wee joke in there?
Maybe that was the joke.
The Pee-wee. Remember that scene when Pee-wee's sniping off people from the dinosaur?
Remember when Pee-wee became a feral ghoul?
Yeah, I mean, wasn't he? I mean, when I think of him, I think just think of the spleen.
Oh, Paul Sherman? Paul Herman?
Herman? Yeah. But I was just like...
This is a weirdly slowly drawn out open right now.
All right, this is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. Is that your horn to wake up?
Welcome to camp! How did the salute your shorts go? Huh? Camp on Awana, we love you in our... Oh, you're too young for that. Well, when we think about you, it makes me want to fart! Learn the words or pay the... camp. Hey, how's everybody doing out there?
I've only been to camp like one time.
I went to camp... Wait, well, you've been... kid camp. Yeah. We did like a 2-day thing when I was in like the 4th grade or something, I remember. And I had a miserable experience.
Okay, no, I went twice. My first time was terrible. Second time was okay. But what we did in California is that we did a gold rush camping kind of experience thing.
So slave labor for children? Did they go find gold?
Yeah. No, but it was like this, it was this camp that at the time was a gold rush, like, site where people would go, and then they made like a camp, and then you would go and like learn about the gold rush. And
that's kind of cool. All the 49ers?
Yeah, the history behind it.
Yeah.
And then there was like activities where you would go pan for gold. And
now, kids, if you find any gold, make sure to bring it back up into here.
I think they planted it.
Oh.
Like fake.
Oh, fake gold.
Like fake gold, yeah.
I found a nugget! It's like fucking Willy Wonka finding the golden ticket. Or not Willy, but Charlie. I got it. Grandpa finally gets out of bed. My legs work now. Sorry. All right. So, hey, how's everybody doing out there?
Spiraling.
So we're talking.
He's panicking.
We're talking about camping because for doing our what Tommy and I's vacation block was because we had just recently did a little vacation each. Tommy went to Vegas, which is why you watched Elvis stuff last week more than anything.
Yeah, it wasn't really fake. We didn't know that.
Yeah, we did. And I went camping, so I pulled out of the depths of my mind one of my favorite camping movies that I remember watching younger called The Great Outdoors.
Great Outdoors.
Yes. And it came out June 17th, 1988. Box office, I forgot to write it down. I think it was like the 20s or something. It wasn't
25.
Yeah. It wasn't like a huge hit, but it was, kind of a success. I mean, because of the actors in it.
It's the names
that really like brought you, yeah.
And if you're curious what it's about, two brother-in-laws butt heads on a family camping trip.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's truly exactly what this is.
That's all it is.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, well, I think I just liked the goofiness of it, when I was younger. You know what I mean?
And I had never seen it, so I didn't have the nostalgic thing.
Yeah, so you're just kind of like,
What the fuck is this?
was Fallon enjoying it?
Yo, because she watched as a kid, so she liked it. Yeah. But I was like, this isn't the best work of these two.
Oh no,
Nope.
How many movies from 1988?
I counted 16 this time. I didn't want to go back, and I don't remember our last 90.
I don't think we've counted 88.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
There was a couple of movies that we had done from 88, or we've talked about at least. But yeah, I had 16 as well, and it was really rough because there's a bunch of these movies where I'm sitting there and looking at it, I'm like, this movie's so old. I know what happens in it, but I don't think I've actually watched it all the way through. Like Coming to America. I didn't count Coming to America.
You've never watched all of Coming to America?
I think I did when I was like fucking 8.
Just that movie's pretty funny.
And I remember moments in it.
Hey man, fuck you. Fuck you too.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's like there's like things that I remember, but I'm like, I don't think, I'm not going to count this because I can't remember it substantially enough.
Remember when Beep got angry at me at our old job? Beep, beep. Because I put Coming to America on, and like the first 45 seconds is just titty galore, but everyone had happened to be, because they had the TV there, but everyone happened to be facing the
other
other way.
Yeah.
And he got really upset, and I was like, number one, I've only ever seen this on TV, so I don't remember this being a thing. Number two, who's gonna know? They're all looking this way. It's okay.
Who's gonna know?
Just turn it off.
They're all gonna know.
How are they gonna know?
They're all okay. So yeah, Great Outdoors. As we were saying, like, yeah, names carrying this movie. So we'll get into the director and writer. So director, we've already done this director, which I was like, oh, okay. Howard Deutch. We did him way back in season 1 with The Replacements.
Episode 59.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, that's season 2 then. Yeah.
Season 2.
Yeah.
It's our November. We did that football block.
Yeah. He's really well known for working with John Hughes and his early career, like directing like Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles. He's done a lot of TV, more in his later career now. I think I brought this up the time before, but he did a lot of weird sequels.
Yeah, I was noticing that again. I was like, oh yeah,
Odd Couple 2, Grumpier Old Men, the whole 10 Yards.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, so he is the father to Zoe Deutch, who is a actress right now. I think we talked about her. I think she's most well known for maybe being a Dear Evan Hansen. I feel like we just did a movie with her in it. And he's married to Leah Thompson, mom from Back to the Future.
Oh, I didn't know that was her.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember if we've done anything with her in it, but we talked about her.
Oh no, I was getting her confused with Caitlin Dever from Booksmart, which they do look a lot alike actually.
Because she's in Zombieland 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, she's the idiot girl in the pink that they pick up.
Yeah, his like weird girlfriend for a minute.
Mm-hmm. She's really funny. I like her.
Well, then she's in that other movie too, that Not Okay one. Is about the woman pretending like she was a survivor of a
Yes,
Yeah.
that's an interesting one as well.
Did you watch it?
I watched it. Yeah,
Interesting.
but yeah, Howard Deutch directed this as we spiral down into his
Daughter's career.
And this movie, written by the late great John Hughes, for me, one of the most influential writers that inspired me to want to be like a writer and artist and stuff and whatnot. I grew up watching all of this stuff, Breakfast Club,
And we also talked about
Ferris Bueller,
and planes,
planes and automobiles. Yep. So it's like we're doing a bit.
It's one of those by accident.
Did we? Yeah. I just didn't really think about it. We
should have known.
Did we bring up about his like his other pen name that he wrote some movies under?
I mean, we might have, but that was so long ago.
Dantes.
Bring it up again.
I mean, it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah. Edmond Dantes. He penned like Beethoven, the big dog.
Oh yeah. See, yeah, I even forgot about that.
And then he also penned like Drill Bit Taylor as Edmond Dantes.
Is that the Owen Wilson one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What is that about?
I don't think I've never seen.
I remember
it.
the poster. It's him kicking.
Yeah. He becomes like their babysitter, but
It's like the pacifier with Vin Diesel. He's like
Kinda, yeah.
ex-military or something. And
I think he's like a self-defense guy. I don't know. Drill Bit Taylor.
What weird
That-
lane of movies.
Right. But yeah, so this is like, I wouldn't. This is definitely not one of John Hughes' best works.
No.
But you can tell that it's a one that I think he had like, he put a heart into it. He had heart going into it, like it was like, he's like, I want to write this like fun family.
I mean, the most John Hughes it gets is when there's that whole weird...
The love story.
Yeah, and you're like...
Yeah, I know.
What? I don't care. But it's like super John Hughes,
It's so John Hughes.
But it's like that's the most he shines through, like, to me at least.
I feel like this was kind of more of a vehicle for him to kind of let Dan Aykroyd and John Candy kind of like bounce off each other.
It is really fucking crazy what John Hughes has done.
Yeah.
Like even I just pulled up his tab again and it's like in the middle of it. But like even 101 Dalmatians in the Flubber screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of shit.
Dude, he was very prominent in Hollywood. And and then like through like the early 90s is when he kind of faded away and just like became a screenwriter, not so much producer anymore as well. But yeah, so written, directed, produced, John Hughes. What?
Just real quick, Gilbert Taylor was right there. Just so
okay.
3 kids hire a low-budget bodyguard to protect them from the playground bully.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome. It's so okay. Anyways, continue. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. John Hughes, Howard Deutch, middle of their career type stuff. I was reading I will get into that later. Let's get into the starring since I brought them up. So yeah, we're bringing back John Candy. Also late great John Candy.
Even for John Candy too, because we were kind of talking about this isn't the best John Candy.
But what's interesting is like the moments that it's because they try to do too much physical humor with his character. You know what I mean? Where you can clearly tell that like that's a body double.
Yeah, and I guess with John Candy too, a lot of his humor was dialogue, like that scene in Uncle Buck when he's talking to his nephew or whatever.
Yes.
Just there, was it McCulkin?
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin. Yeah,
It was Macaulay.
yeah.
But they're back and forth in that, where he's just like giving him like the 10th degree, and a lot of Candy's was just like even like him telling the bear story.
Yeah, no, that's a
good Candy moment, but it's really like he you want to watch him talk to you.
Yeah, exactly. He knows how to like keep you captivated, and like use like the melody of his voice, to like goes high and low. But then also I just love when like he runs in front of him, he's like, big bear, big bear.
Yeah, that's actually
big bear, big chase. Chase, big bear, chase me.
That's an interesting point too, because there is so much physical humor where you just know it's not, because it's like, not to be rude or anything, but John Candy is a huge man.
Yeah,
And then you're like, oh, he just lost 30 pounds in those last 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, it's just because he just looks so much smaller. Because even then, it's not even that he's a big guy. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's tall and he's big, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like to find someone to fit that. Try to remind me that I thought of what we were setting up. I thought of something to swap out the bear for when we get to that.
Oh, do you know what the actual original script was, though?
The fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get there.
But yeah.
John Candy is we did Planes, Trains, Automobiles. He's an Uncle Buck.
Blues Brothers. Isn't John Candy in Blues Brothers? I thought he was one of the members of the band. Yeah, he is.
No, it's Dan Aykroyd
Yeah, I know, but it's
and
also
John Belushi.
Yeah, I know, but there's other members that they like collect for the band. Isn't John Candy one of them?
I don't think so. Well, maybe he's like a minor character type thing.
Yeah.
I don't. I
I
honestly,
thought he was like the pianist or something.
he might be. Actually.
I think he's the pianist.
The only thing I really remember from Blues Brothers,
I haven't seen that
honestly,
in like 20 years.
since I was like freshman in high school, maybe, and I think I was making out with my girlfriend through the entire thing.
I don't think.
I have this very distinct memory of them at the Catholic school and the nuns getting her to like swat their wrists, and they fall out of their chairs, and Dan Aykroyd's like, "Fuck this noise," and and they run out, which is where I got me saying "fuck this noise" or "fuck that noise" from.
Well, because then there's also Blues Brothers
2000.
2000.
Yeah, and I think John Goodman replaces John Belushi, and the young kid and the little kid. You know who's actually seen the movie that knows it very well is Taylor.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Taylor. John
Yeah.
Candy. Who is he?
No, the second one, not the first one.
Oh yeah.
But anyway.
I do think John Candy's the pianist, if I remember.
That's
something.
yeah. Well, that's a good. Quick transition for Dan Aykroyd, because we haven't talked about Dan Aykroyd. We haven't done anything with Dan Aykroyd.
He is so obnoxious in this movie.
I know.
Like, God, he's good at being a pain in the ass.
Let's see if I can do it. I got a business proposition for you. You see, all I need is your time and $25,000.
You started going a little Atlantic there
Yeah,
in the
I did.
beginning, and
Yeah.
then you pulled it back. I was like, hello there.
Ah,
$25,000.
$25,000, and you got to deal with me. Ha ha. It was really interesting. It was I didn't was his character in this. All I could hear was the character from Tommy Boy.
Okay.
Is it Callahan? Does he own Callahan?
I don't remember.
I don't know. He owns the big brake pad, or the car
Yeah.
part manufacturing company that wants to buy Tommy Boy's brake pads, but Tommy Boy just sold 10.5 million, whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, it's like funny too, because when I think of Dan Aykroyd, I definitely think of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And he's just like, it's kind of funny because it's like he's always very him, but like Ghostbusters, he's very different.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know what I mean?
He plays a little bit more of like a simple buffoon at points, because he's the one who's like that thinks of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's the one that's kind of like always. He's kind of like the bumbler in Ghostbusters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, but also I saw too that Dan Aykroyd had a credit in Temple of Doom.
Really? Mm-hmm. Huh.
And I was like, but uncredited. Like character name uncredited.
He was probably just like a small little like hotel clerk or something.
Yeah, but now I'm like, I want to watch Temple of Doom.
Try to find him.
Yeah, try and find him.
I actually think immediately go to Coneheads.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah.
No, Coneheads is great.
Yeah, Coneheads is really funny actually.
What has he been done recently? I'm trying to think. Nothing's really coming to mind other than the newest Ghostbusters.
So he has 5 upcoming, and then most recently, Workin' Moms for 5 episodes.
Oh, he was he did this like preacher show.
Yeah, and then Ghostbusters Afterlife is 2021.
Yeah, this movie is definitely led by John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, and then their wives are played by John Candy's wife is played by Stephanie Pharisee. Who I honestly only recognize from being the man maker in How I Met Your Mother, the older woman that Barney lost his virginity to.
Oh, well, then I also saw that she was in Hocus Pocus. She's the kid's mom.
He's their mother.
Madonna.
That's right. And I brought her up again with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she was also in Get Him to the Greek for some.
I don't remember her in that. Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny too. Like kind of a more random
Yeah.
person that we haven't really talked about in great length, and it was like, oh, there are 2 other movies that we don't.
Exactly right. And then
this whole movie just came into
in a weird
circle.
Yeah. And then we have playing Dan Aykroyd's wife, Annette Bening, which I did not recognize
As American Beauty mom, I didn't recognize that at all
until they said it, and then I was like, holy shit. Because Annette Bening.
And then she's in Mars Attacks, of course, because everybody's in Mars Attacks.
She is an amazing actress too. Like she's 4 Oscar nominations. So it's really, this was her first theatrical film. This was her theatrical film debut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we get to see where Annette Bening came from, and she was grounded and funny in it. Yeah. And then I don't know if you want to bring up the kids because they didn't really have much of anything.
Oh, I thought it was kind of more led by the adults.
Yeah.
Like the kids are just.
I mean, his son who has his own like side story with that girl, the local. You don't know how local I am.
So I was like,
it's like,
what does that mean?
Yeah. It's like, should I go ask the local boys some questions?
Is this like a town bike kind of situation? No, I was really like, what does she mean by that?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what she means, but this is like a family-friendly film. Is that what she means? I don't know if that's what she means. That's how I feel. That's what I hear. You don't know how local I am. Okay.
Anywho, let's get into some reviews. What do you got for reviews? And then so what? Rating wise, IMDb, it's got a 6.6. And then tomato meter, 40% and 71% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which I feel makes sense and fitting.
Got the black lung pop.
You've worked in the mines for one day.
You've been down there. God damn it, Derek. You've been down there one goddamn day. That'd be a fun one to do. Ooh, that should be. Oh, I thought of another block. Anyway, sorry. Who did I pick? Oh, so there are 0 positive, 5 mixed, and 5 negative.
Surprised there's not at least one positive.
I was surprised that there wasn't one kind of like. Did this group have a name?
So
did they have like a
Hughes? Did like there was like the Brat Pack, but that was more for like all of his like younger.
Yeah, but like
Molly
Steve
Ring.
Martin Short, John Candy, like Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray.
A lot of they're SNL alums.
I just didn't know if they had like a.
I don't know if John. Then a lot, and then half of those people you just named, they're all from comedy troupes up in Canada. Like John Candy is Canadian. Rick Moranis. I think Martin Short.
Your answer is no. They don't have like.
I don't know. I don't think there's like some troubadour name.
Yeah, like a troop. That's like a troop name.
The 80s troubadours.
That's actually not a bad name.
Right.
Coin it
For them.
Yeah, the 80s troubadours. So 50 out of 100, Chicago Tribune by Dave Kerr. Even for John Hughes, who writes movies in less time than most people write postcards, The Great Outdoors seems unusually slapdash.
Yeah.
Short. I picked that. It was short, simple. Also, it was Chicago Tribune,
and that's kind of why, like, what I was saying is, like, I feel like this was. I guess it was more of just like a weird passion project for Hughes. Like, it was something where it felt like he's like, I just want to write a really like family friendly,
goofy comedy
about camping. Something maybe that made him feel like remind him of his childhood and of his dad. Maybe something weird like that. Like, it just feels like. Otherwise, why would John Hughes make this?
I see. I get that point, but it doesn't feel like a labor of love to me. It feels slapdash. It feels kind of just
like it was like I feel like it was supposed to be more of a labor of love, and he was like, the studio wants something.
And then for the negative, 20 out of 100, the New York Times, Janet Maslin. Though the film never... I was like, which one was this? Though the film never becomes actively unfunny, neither does it do much more than tread water. The raccoons have a better time than the audience will.
The fucking raccoons. Did you let the credits roll and while you're talking and see the post-credit scene?
No.
It's the raccoons talking to each other.
Uh-huh.
And they're talking about Shelby, which is apparently the name of the bear.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, yeah, she got her ass hair blowing off. What? Oh, she's going to be cold this winter. It's like fucking dumb as fuck.
I mean, I could read the last one. Negative.
Sure.
Nah, we're not.
Yeah.
Fine.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Like, it was like rewatching it. I was like sitting there and like as like the moments came and went, I was like, this is literally just a series of put a goof next to a goof, or a slapstick moment next to a slapstick moment next to a slapstick moment. Insert some like wit from John Candy about something, like when Dan Aykroyd's like grilling the shrimps or the lobster tails and the steaks and whatnot for surf and turf while camping. And John Candy was like, yeah, and he just picks up like the little hammer. He's like,
oh, it's the salt pepper. Thing.
Like the tension between them is palpable through it and amusing and funny, but you really don't have any actual like character arc development or story or idea of what's really happening until like the last 15 minutes.
And that's also makes it feel really rushed. And
and
then also just the fact that like, I was actually going to look this up. Well, like the fact that he tries to like swindle him out of $25,000.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of was like, Roman. Like by the end of it, you're like, oh, that's like, it's pretty fucked up actually.
But yeah, it's like, it's one of those movies, like, and I think that's why, like, Fallon and I have, like, the nostalgia for it, is that it's good for kids because it's just, like, adults being in dumb, situations. And, John Candy's stunt double going, whoa!
Well, it's, like, funny, too, as you get older and things, especially with slapstick, like that whole scene when he's being pulled by the boat.
Yeah.
And, like, at that speed with the tension of that rope, and he's, like you're gonna decapitate somebody.
Yeah.
And just being older, and you realize there's a lot of slapstick moments where you're like, oh no, you're about to murder these people. So $25,000 in 1988 is equivalent to the purchasing power of about $64,000 today.
Okay.
So
So he's
like,
kind of like asking for like 75 grand or
yeah,
something.
like that's a pretty big chunk of change.
Yeah.
Anyways, I meant to look that up.
I'm just curious about that.
Yeah.
And like they do have this like moment of they have these like setups through the entire film that leads to like the arc of Roman, becoming saving the kids and having a heart and not wanting to take the money from what's John Candy's what's his character's name?
Chet,
yeah.
Chester, Chet.
And like, so like Chet, he's trying to bond with his kids. That's what this whole trip was generally it's supposed to be, family time. He gives his son the ring. He's like, well, my father gave it to me and now I give it to you. And he's like, and it's just like, okay, sure. But
I don't know if you noticed it also because you've seen it, so you knew. I thought it was really funny that to me, it never really became super clear what the relation of everyone was. Like, I know that they're related, but I don't know exactly how. And it's not until they're at the bar and then Candy says, sorry, my brother-in-law, when he gets a couple drinks in him, thinks he knows everything about everything or something like that. And I went, this is like, there's like 30 minutes left of the movie at this point. I was like, oh, okay.
You find out that the wives are sisters.
Yeah, but I was like, I was just sitting there through like an hour of the movie being like, what is the relation here?
That's actually, it was in, like, at the kind of the beginning moment when they were, like kind of talking, sitting down at the chairs, just kind of, I think it was for breakfast or whatever. They're just like, sharing snide comments. I was starting to sit in there thinking, I was like, yeah, what is their I thought they were the brothers.
Yeah, because that's what you told me.
Yeah.
But then with their dialogue, I was like, they don't feel like they're biological
and I was like,
brothers.
Wait a second. So I knew that it was family issues, but I thought, it wasn't until like kind of that scene I was like, oh, he's their stepbrothers. Okay. But
The brother-in-laws.
Yeah, brother-in-laws. Thank you.
I mean, which is also kind of an interesting choice. Like, why did they do that? Why didn't they just make them two brothers?
I don't know.
Because even then, if you had made them brothers and they're constantly, one-upping each other.
I think because like if they were brothers, then Chet would know that Roman is trying to con him. You know what I mean? Like if they were actually blood brothers, like
Yeah, but then also you can make the John Candy still like Chet has such a bleeding heart and cares for his brother that he's gonna do it anyway. You could still make that arc happen.
yeah, but that's even but it's I don't really I'm not worried about that, honestly.
No, I just thought it was an interesting choice to make them brother-in-law.
I mean,
I just thought that was not your normal like.
I think what that does is that it creates a dynamic of them not knowing each other well enough to where they're always at each other like throats like that. You know, there's always a sense of uncomfortability because also like Roman just literally shows up out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, but even then when you were talking about the steaks too, and he says, "We're not gonna eat that garbage at my cabin," kind of thing, and you're like, isn't this
motherfucker? I paid for this shit.
Yeah, like it's nobody. You rented it.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like a family.
But you have sprinkled throughout this entire film moments of like Dan Aykroyd being like, why like Chet's kids look up to him like he's some type of hero to them, and he's like, my kids look at me like I'm chopped liver, and like this whole thing, and like even when he overhears Chet trying to like tell his kids like, the bear story, I exaggerated. Don't worry about it. Just a little story to scare you, whatnot. And he hears Chet being good, like being a good father. So then he takes that into his daughter's room, his twin daughters, the Shining twins.
And then ends up telling them just another horrifying, actually kind of more
horrifying thing. So just matter of factly, that not realizing that he's just scarring them more. And it cuts like they wake up in the morning and the twins are just still wide-eyed awake.
Or even like when Candy's like leaving and that he's I'm done, I'm leaving, and his wife comes up and he's like, what about the kids? I'm like, what about the kids? I expect their heads to start spinning around puking pea soup everywhere. Yeah, right. And then she's like, no, our kids. And he's like, oh, our kids already do that. Like
but so that's where, because of all that, that's the arc for this. It's strange because I feel like it's mainly supposed to be Roman becoming a better person, but we follow more Chet more. And it's kind of both of them. And maybe the whole idea is that the great outdoors experience brings them better together, brings out the warmness from Roman, seeing how nice of a person Chet is. But then what is Chet's arc, other than like confronting the bear that he had the story about?
Well, then it's also weird too, because they're like that whole scene on the boat is very slapsticky. Mm-hmm. But then it's even like it cuts to them doing other like activities, and then it's like, that whole scene with him arguing with the horse. Oh yeah. And then he goes like a stick to like whip it, basically. Mm-hmm. But he like, and then the horse takes off, and then it cuts to Candy has now been roaming through the forest as everyone is, and you're kind of like, there's this disconnect where you're like, this is a moment where you can get really slapsticky with the horse. Mm-hmm. Why aren't we doing anything slapsticky, like whatsoever?
I wonder if there was just like because going into the production that we read about, the original main climax of the story was that the two girls were supposed to get dragged off on the boat, on a fishing boat from a big fish that gets caught. Mm. And they had like this mechanical fish built for it and all this stuff, and they couldn't get the fish to work properly, so they rewrote the script around the legend of the bald bear, which means they probably added that story of John Candy telling that of it. They probably added that later, into filming and whatnot, and I think just because of like just complications that, and then like the amount of money you're spending on like animal handlers and whatnot. They could have done a lot more slapstick stuff with that bear, or with that horse, but maybe they just didn't have the money or means to do anything, Well,
yeah, but but that entire like sequence too, there's not really, I don't know. It has this vibe like it's gonna be slapsticky, but then there's a couple moments where it does, and then I don't know, like I like the steak eating scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like that scene, actually. So they pulled it out. I was like, I could do that.
96 ouncer?
And then she's like, no, you can't. I was like, I can do that.
No. And then also through that, you have like the son, the teenage son meeting up with the townie girl, and they become like, they fall in love really fast. It's like, that's like again, like that is the John Hughes of this movie.
Yeah, but that's fine too because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of hormonal teenagers, summer vacation.
Which is where I really think this movie is like John Hughes is kind of always written for more of like teenager, younger audiences, like young adults, like 20-year-olds, so for like in that like era and generation. And I think this was him more like just trying to explore just like an actual, just like more family oriented movie, you know? Because even like Uncle Buck and Home Alone is that as well. But this is just so like fun time, jokey humor with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy to then all of a sudden like teenage love story with his son. And then jokey laugh time, Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, you know?
jokey laugh time.
Like the whole thing, like when the bat is like loose in the cabin.
Oh, that upset me.
Because they were trying to kill it?
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
Like, it's a harmless fucking bat.
Leave the bat alone.
Like, what's funny is in the 80s, people are scared of bats. And
what did bat ever do to you?
And they think bats carry rabies and disease and filth and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But yeah.
They're great pest control.
I don't know. I feel like it was fun. It was a fun movie.
What movie is Dan Aykroyd the like chief of police? Oh no, he's the chief of the I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Oh yeah.
He's like the chief comic relief kind of character. What? Adam Sandler's complaining about them being separated. What's his name? Adam Sandler and
Kevin James
about them being separated. And Dan Aykroyd's, it's like, we've always been together. He's like, yeah, so were my testicles, and now they're not. You don't see me crying. And he walks out of the
Yeah, all in all, I feel like this movie just it happened.
I had this weird like instead of being the bear, I was like, how cool would it have been if it was like they did like some kind of Sasquatch thing and Chris Farley was Sasquatch.
No, fuck, that would have been funny.
That would have been funny.
I don't think Chris Farley was anybody yet at this time, though.
Well,
Chris Farley didn't hit SNL.
I know this is 1988.
Yeah, Chris Farley didn't hit SNL until like 1990, 1991.
When did he pass away?
Like 95, 96.
Oh, wow. Yeah. But I just thought like I liked the
this is before David Spade, before Adam Sandler, before
okay, then fine. Okay, but if that's the case, then who could have been Sasquatch? Who would have been a good Sasquatch?
Chevy Chase.
Yes. Like just build and everything too. Like I guess it depends on what you want Sasquatch to do. Like if Sasquatch
Bill
is
Murray.
I was gonna say, well, if Sasquatch is talking, then Bill Murray. Like if he's like
Chevy Chase would have. It's still
but Chevy Chase being like an animal version, like very like growly and making these stupid noises and like being kind of like that, then Chevy Chase. But if he's like if he's an intellectual and kind of like a smart ass, then Bill Murray. Like you can't go for I must be come to go for.
So do you have anything else to say about this movie though?
I was talking about this movie. Changing the
what's happened in the movie. I feel like I can tell that we both just kind of like this was kind of a whomper for us.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. There's not really.
It's like the climax. Well, like the climax of Roman coming to heart. Like it's all because of his wife talking like on the as he's leaving with some of Roman's money. And then,
a lot of his money.
Yeah. And him just like hearing like, it's such a nice guy. He that
could be his kid's college fund.
Yeah. And just like Roman's
it's so pointed.
And then Roman's like, oh man, it's my brother-in-law. I can't do this. And then he comes back and is honest that we're broke. Like blah 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 blah. And then,
but then also it's like it takes John Candy convincing him to go save his daughters. And get in the tunnel.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like I feel like the arc is more of Roman through this entire film, and John Candy is kind of more like the leading comic relief, like the leading man as just the comic relief. Because like even like Roman, and it's funny how that happens though. Is like how Roman gets down in there. and he saves his girls. He sees the wet dynamite. That's probably not gonna. I don't know. Well, no, wet dynamite's more dangerous, isn't it?
What do I look like? A 90s action cop? Well, I don't know.
Anywho. But then you see like the bald bears like in that cave, and then John Candy's like running like, okay, girls, I got you, and like the bear pulling on him while he's like trying to get it out, like that. The final sequence, and I think that's what sticks out. That's what stuck out to me the most in my memory from childhood watching this, and even like early 20s. I know I rewatched this like within the last 2 decades.
Oh,
what?
yes.
It wet dynamite is very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah. Because it liquefies everything, and then
the mixture is not stable in damp environments. Water causes the nitroglycerin to leak away. The nitroglycerin can build up and can explode unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I was like, what dynamite? Okay, like I didn't really get it. Okay, yeah, that's not good. All right. If you could take anything away from this episode, you learned something about wet dynamite.
You know what's funny is like, since I had an idea of that, I wonder if that was strangely like a weirdly common knowledge thing for
at that time.
Yeah, like people.
Oh, maybe.
Whereas there's just also like, think about this: how much dynamite do we see getting used in the 80s? Actually, quite a bit, and we saw it in Monster Squad.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's dynamite in Die Hard. Like dynamite, it's like a kind of a.
I mean, I guess if it depends. Yeah, for the time, it might have been the most like accessible thing to like make.
But also,
like nitroglycerin
but
and sawdust, right? Basically,
yeah. That adds like a level of tension for like Roman to get the kids out, and they're sitting there playing with fucking sticks of dynamite. He's like, okay, yeah, let's put that away and let's get the fuck out of here.
It's super 80s too. It's like this decommissioned mine, and they just left the dynamite in there. It's like, no, they would probably take out the dynamite.
I don't know. That's actually a really popular or well-known thing. It's like a lot of like those, like especially in like California, a lot of those mines that were abandoned, there was shitloads of dynamite that was just left behind, and over the years they would just explode.
I've never heard of that.
Really?
Never.
Huh.
I mean, I could see in a situation where the canary dies,
it's like,
you have to get out of there.
I think it might be something because now like all of that dynamite has exploded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like there was this thing of like it happening in caves and caverns that were abandoned by old miners.
I'll ask my parents about that. Also, because my dad like grew up in California.
Well, I feel like it'd be like more of a Northern California thing, you know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, maybe they.
I'm just saying mines in general, like
because they also lived in Northern California too.
I don't know. I'm projecting an idea.
Google.
Well. Not right now.
Dynamite.
Yeah. So this whole thing is more or less like Roman's arc. We're running in circles. Let's just do
what
it.
Are we at?
43 minutes.
That's cool.
Yeah. And like I said, like I think a big thing to take away is that, I mean, I was hoping to enjoy it a little bit more, maybe like take a little bit of like comparison of like, oh, my camping, and then like how this camping was, and it's like this movie was just jokes on jokes on jokes on jokes on jokes.
Yeah, we kind of failed in our vacation block decision.
Yeah.
I thought of one. Oh, I was gonna. It was already like set in stone, but I was gonna say, what if we do? What about Bob?
Baby steps, baby steps to the door. Baby steps to the door. It's working, Doc. It's working.
Because they're camping in that too, right? They're at a cabin.
They end up
getting a cabin. Yeah, it's a kind of the same kind of like.
Yeah,
except darker.
It's so dark.
It's really dark. All right, what are you giving this, my friend?
I give it a 2.5, honestly.
I was gonna say I'm stuck between 2.5 because I guess 2.5 because I like Dan Aykroyd and John Candy.
Yeah, and like they're funny in it. There's a lot of funny moments. It keeps you like laughing and entertained ish. Like there's some really funny moments. Like when he eats the steak,
the bear
the bear at the end is like
he's
big bear. They're like, oh yeah, big, yeah, that's nice, honey. And like they're just not paying. Like just like he's clearly terrified out of his goddamn mind, and everybody's just like, la-di-da-di-da-di-da-da-da.
Well, yeah, like the Janet review. The film never becomes actively unfunny. Neither does it do much than tread water.
Yeah,
it really is that kind of like just. Mm-hmm. It is over.
And then like the ending, the button on the movie, the button joke of it all is Roman like race you home.
Oh yeah, they're gonna like stay with them.
Yeah, and then like he's like race him home. Why would he say that? It's just this doesn't make any sense. And then wife's like, you know, we better beat him home because he's gonna get the good spot in the garage. Honey, what? It's only gonna be for a few weeks until they get back on their feet.
Yeah.
And he's like, huh? What?
When I was reading that there was like talks about like some kind of sequel that they were talking about doing with Dan Aykroyd.
Oh yeah,
Like Roman was gonna be following Roman, and they were gonna try and get like another
I read something
John
about that.
Candy-esque person to be in it.
Yeah,
But yeah. Anyways,
with John Hughes and John Candy both not with us anymore.
let it go.
Just let the bald beard die.
When did John Hughes pass away in
2009.
Yeah, 2009. All right.
2.5.
2.5. 2.5 out of 5 carrots.
Watch it with your kids.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, it was 1988, so there's definitely some jokes in there that you're like,
Yeah.
don't get lost back there, because then the Indians will get you. You're like, yep. But it's pretty harmless. Like it's not very violent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not overly sexual.
No.
Like, it's easy. I mean, I only caught a couple like of those moments. It didn't actually feel like they're. I mean, did you catch any of?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, right. I didn't catch anything like it wasn't full of it like certain 80s movies are. We're like, holy shit.
Oh, I saw a list of movies that would never get made today, and one of them was Revenge of the Nerds. Oh, you sent it to me.
Yeah, I
That's right.
sent it to you.
And
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, that movie. Or Porky's. I'm sorry, Porky wasn't on that list.
Well, that was like part 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, we're just rambling for no reason.
We don't know what we're doing next week, so just follow us, posts and stuff. You'll be updated on what we decide we're gonna do. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that off mic. So you'll
Stay tuned. Till next week.
Welcome to the world. Anyways, okay, yeah. This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's
mixtape. Same bat time, same bat channel.
What?
You know, that's old Adam West, 1960s. Like, they would sign off and be like, see you next week, kids. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Goodbye. Thank you for listening.
I want to say stuff.